We're shifting through the galaxy guides here, and we're on number 9, Fragments from the Rim. Yes, that's right. We are going out on the outer rim here. We're exploring a world, a lawless world here that does have rebel operatives. It's going to have Imperial presence too. Kind of tells you who's who from the rebellion. And Devin Fuller, I think this is who we're seeing the world from. I can't remember. But anyway, there's the ship, Arcanian Dawn. A few of the characters. Now, I'll be honest. I'm gonna have to give a few spoilers here, but one of these characters is a Jedi, and I really hate that. He, survived the Purge, and every Jedi survived the Purge, and that's one thing I didn't like about West End Games. There was a lot of Jedi on distant planets who used to serve the Order and went into hiding just like Obi-Wan. I mean, you could say, well, yeah, they heard the signal. You could easily retcon this, say they heard the signal and they ran and hid. Yeah, but when Luke killed the Death Star, why didn't they come all out of the woodwork again? Did they all just suddenly die then? And this is during the Rebellion era. Some of this is right before or right after the Death Star exploded. Why aren't they going to their hand? No. But if some of them work for the Rebel Alliance and they're training, because I guess no one just kind of thought about that. But, that's what this big story is. I love big stories like this, but, about training you to be a Jedi. And there's not many of us. And, yeah, you got the Force in you. Yeah, I can train you. While we're doing our mission out here on the rim, all on our own. In fact, I think there's going to give you tips on how to increase your Force knowledge here. Okay, here's one. Slang again. Just like I said in previous ones, a lot of this slang I've never heard of before, and I'm kind of glad. I bet a lot of the authors looked at this and went, no. Anyway, the next one's Imperials. Yes, it is. High Inquisitor Tremaine, who will be some foil for West End Games. From here on out, you'll hear about Tremaine. Even in short stories he is. He is an Inquisitor of Darth Vader. He did have some Force abilities, twisted by the dark side, serving Lord Vader, hunting down other Jedi. He is what's going to... It's not Darth Vader who's going to track him down, but Darth Vader is too busy to kill any remaining Jedi. So High Inquisitor Tremaine is kind of tasked with doing that, or bringing them to Vader to turn them to the dark side or kill them. So he is going to be the one. He is Darth Vader's right-hand man in these adventures, and he's going to be the one that's going to try to bring you down, especially that Force-sensitive character that is in this story, which, again, when I hear about Force-sensitive characters, I'm already tuned out when it comes to West End Games. I just don't think they should have done that. But here you go. Radiation Zone Assault Trooper. Imperial Storm Commander. I love these. I love these new designs and everything. Then, of course, when you're out on the rim, where are the crime lords and syndicates here? Well, you got some Garant armor here, but anyways, talk about these crime lords. This is one that, this is not a spoiler, but he had a big criminal empire. He's big and bad, but then the empire turned his whole operation into slag, so now he's just drunk and he's a shell of his former self. His empire is basically gone now. He used to be somebody. I mean, they just give you like washed up heroes like that and just say, here, put him in a story somehow. And I really love that. So here's galactic businesses and corporate families, basically going in to all these corporations. So not all of them bad, not all of them evil. Some of them hard, honest work who are just trying to get by in the world. Others, yes, they're a little bit dirtier and evil. Then it talks about guilds. And if you want to join a guild, a merchant guild, what are the benefits? You could be a slaver. This is awful, but you could be. Then it talks a little bit about bounty hunters. Now, there's several. In fact, the next guide will be about bounty hunters. But this one kind of says, well, bounty hunters are on the outer rim. So here's a little stuff about bounty hunters, too. Not as much as going to be in the other galaxy guide, but still, just to give you a snapshot picture of it. Then it talks about military units. Yeah, not Empire or Rebellion. Local units, sector units, different types of police, or peacekeepers. And then there's the Nova team, squad, which are not either or. They're just planetary. Pirates. Of course, you're going to have pirates on the rim. And I love this. The Backstab. What a great name. Great name for a ship. Actually was into the pirates here. A lot of interesting characters. Fighting pirates, not fighting the Empire would be kind of interesting too. Again, Dark Revenge. That's cool. It's just cool. Next, we talk about swoop gangs. There's different types of swoop gangs here. There's the Skulls and the Knights. I just love this, like biker gangs here. They're just like that in space. And what you need to do, the Blood Sniffers are out there too. They're territorial. They don't like, each other. And then, of course, here it is, the Force. I was very disappointed. I don't want to hear about this, but some people, of course, back then wanted to improve their Force ability. So this is kind of telling you, okay, what can they do here? How can we practice it? What do they need to be doing? How long? The duration is 1 hour for telekinesis practice. But when you do, how will you move up? And it's kind of up to the game master, but how they will improve depends on how much time they utilize during the adventures studying in the Force. So, I mean, not bad because it's talking about all the different Force abilities, but again, I just don't like Force-sensitive characters. I'd rather they not be in Westing games. Anyway, it talks about news agencies. Yeah, you can work for a news corporation and deliver news. It said you could be on a storyline and unravel something about the Empire. Now it's very dangerous because now the Empire wants to shut you up. So, interesting ideas about news agencies too. And then, of course, leisurely activities. LUM, which we did hear a lot about in the Expanded Universe, especially in the Bantam era. But talks about a Tatooine sunburn, which we've heard about. Or Star Sign Surprise. The Reactor Core, which is another drink you heard about in the Expanded Universe. I think they picked the sweetest ones out of this, like Corellian whiskey and stuff like that. They knew that'd sell. And maybe this is the one that has all the drink mixes. Because, yeah, it has this bar. No, maybe not. Oh, no. Here's the good one. This is music. Music in the Expanded Universe. What? I wish this would have been in here, because look at all these bands. And these are real big. They talk about each one. Boba Fett and the Assassin Droids. It's not Boba Fett. And they wonder what happens if Boba Fett finds out someone's getting rich off of his name. They fear the band may not be happy they stole his name for too long. I don't want to be in that band when Boba Fett comes after him. But then about their music and what it sounds like and how they got popular or they're new on the scene or something. This, and obviously those are like CDs it looks like there, but so interesting. I completely forgotten. And I read these years ago, but I'd completely forgotten that this was in here. The music of Star Wars. That's just, because people, the sound slugs. People listen to these bands. I wish they would have talked about music more. But this one I found extremely fascinating. Extremely fascinating. Let me know. Did you know there were musical bands like that in Star Wars? What other things here stood out to you? And as always, leave them in the comments below. I'll see you next time.